And so I think a funny anecdote to talk about this is I kind of borrowed this from the Bible Project guys, but I'm going to kind of adapt it a little bit. And let's say if you ask me, well, okay, what do you think is the best cheeseburger? And I might say, well, it's obviously Five Guys. I mean, everybody knows that, right? And you might say, why? Well, I mean, they're good, right? No, I mean, is that a good witness? I mean, I have a knowledge that they're a burger place, and yeah, I might have been there a time or two. But what would be more convincing, that or someone who's actually lived it? Like, for instance, telling you that Five Guys, the nearest Five Guys to Lebanon is around 17 miles away in Brownsburg. It's actually on Northfield Drive. They're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. They were started in Arlington, Virginia in 1986 by a father and his 4 sons, and that they've been creating fresh hamburgers ever since, never frozen, 100% beef, cooked to order every time, and every burger they make is a double patty, unless you request the single patty, which is a separate menu item. And but they don't only just sell hamburgers; they sell hot dogs and hand-spun vanilla milkshakes with free add-ins. And did I mention that the add-ins to your cheeseburger are also free, no matter how many you get, and that they sell fresh-cut French fries that are made in 100% peanut oil. And actually, matter of fact, I was just there the other week, and I had the cheeseburger and fries, and see, that's more convincing, right? I knew in and out everything about it, right? And you're going to believe my witness. You're going to say, oh, okay, if I want a cheeseburger, I want to go to Five Guys, which you should, by the way. But you're going to believe my witness more than someone who said, I like McDonald's better. Well, why? I don't know, because they serve burgers, and they've been doing it for forever, I guess. So it's living it, it's knowing it, it's understanding it, having a deep knowledge, a deep personal connection. And so what does that look like? To bear witness about Jesus? What does that look like? How can we be witnesses? Well, I think that what's really kind of cool is as you look at what being a witness means, God kind of spells it out twice. He spells it out in the Old Testament and the New, and he starts first with Israel. And what's really cool about this, about being a witness, is it's not just a responsibility. I know sometimes we can be scared about sharing the gospel or sharing our faith with others and being a witness because it's something that seems difficult. Maybe people won't accept us, or it might be hard to reach people. And it's a difficult job. You got to get outside your comfort zone to bear witness. But I think what can help us to be more excited about that is the promise that comes with the witness. And I'm going to read 2 passages, and I hope as I'm reading them, you see the connections between the two, because I think that the second one, the writer of the second passage, was very heavily drawing from the first one. They were very connected in language and theme. So the first one you're going to read from the Old Testament, and it's in Exodus chapter 19, verses 5 through 6. And this is God talking to Israel, his people Israel. And he's saying, now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. So God is saying to Israel, you're going to be my witnesses. I want you to tell this to all the people of Israel and to the world. As he says, the earth is mine. All the earth is mine. So go out and be my witness. And what's the cool part of that? And you'll see in the next part too, is that part about being a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. So I'm going to read the second passage and see if you can kind of connect some of the other themes. It's from 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 9 through 12. And it says, but you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now... Oh, lost my place. I'm sorry. Oh, but now you receive mercy. Makes sense. Beloved, I urge you as sojourners and exiles to abstain from the passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul. Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation. So do you see the two connections here? It's almost like you take Exodus and you take 1 Peter, and if you were to flip 1 Peter, it's almost the exact same reading. It starts with, if you'll just do what I say. So at the end of 1 Peter, he's saying, if you just do what I say, if you just abstain from evil. And then in Exodus, he starts with, if you will just keep my commandments and follow my law and obey my voice. And then it ends with, then it goes on to, you'll be a royal priesthood, right? A holy nation. And so the difference between Exodus and 1 Peter is that Israel is just a kingdom of priests, whereas in 1 Peter we are called a kingdom of royal priests, which I think is the most exciting part, because not only are we priests, but royal priests. Now let me break that down in case maybe that's a little confusing. So both in the Old Testament and I believe in the New, the priest, obviously we know that in the New Testament it says that Jesus is our high priest. And so what is Jesus' job? Part of it is that he's the mediator between us and God, right? It kind of bridges the gap between God and humanity. Well, Peter is saying that to us, that we are part of that priesthood, that we bridge the gap between God and the world, right? God and those who don't believe. And not only are we priests, but we're royal priests. Well, what does that mean? Well, I think that what God's saying there is that, as we see several times and throughout the New Testament, is that we are sharing God's kingdom with Jesus. If we are in Jesus, if we are with him, that we get to share in his excellencies. We get to share in his blessings and share in the rule of his new kingdom and creation. And that's very exciting. It seems almost like a daunting task, but at the same time, what an amazing task, because we get to work alongside the Creator God. And I think that is such an amazing occupation, is to work alongside God, work alongside Jesus, and bring his kingdom. And again, then it ends, or it begins with, they both kind of wrap up in saying that that we're to go out into the world and proclaim that, right? To go out and tell people and bear witness. And I think, so what that's saying to us, I think if you put those two together, is that we need to bear witness about Jesus, bear witness about God and what he's doing, what he's done in our lives, what he's doing in other people's lives, what he wants to do for them. And it's just such an amazing gift, really. And then tell the world, and again, not just tell the world and be a witness in speech only, but in deed, by an act, by abstaining from what is evil and doing what is good. And even in 1 Peter says that when people say, look at you, how dare you, or you're terrible, or I'm going to tear you down or destroy you, or whatever it is, that instead of retaliation, they see our good deeds, they see our love, and they say, oh, wow, maybe this love of God is something. Maybe God is really there. Maybe he really does exist. Maybe he really does care about me. And therefore, we're bearing more witness than in just our words. In our deeds, we're actually, as we see, helping people to come to God, right? To lay down their sin and pick up the cross and follow Jesus. And what an amazing thing that is. And I just think that's so encouraging. And I hope that has encouraged you a little bit. I hope you've learned something. I think that one way that's important that we can become better witnesses is to do things like this, to learn, to share with one another, to study. I know that sometimes we can make the excuse that, I just don't have time to read. I don't have time to study. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. Well, I think that one good thing that we can take out of this whole isolation and everything is that now we're stuck at home. Now we have plenty of time to be stuck at home and to learn. So take this opportunity to learn, to read, to study, to be a better witness, so that when, again, another excuse of, like I said before, is that you don't feel prepared. You can't go out and witness because you just don't know enough. Well, again, this is a perfect time to take the time to study, to build yourself up in God, to root yourself in Jesus, to grow your understanding. And then so when we are released into the world, what an amazing day that will be, as we'll be just changed people, like witnesses, royal priests and kings and queens, and ready to proclaim the gospel and going forth and just pouring out our love that has been bottled up in our houses all this time. So again, I hope that this has helped you. I hope this has encouraged you, taught you something. I know that I learned a lot doing this lesson and preparing for it and kind of studying it. And so hopefully you've gained something from it too. I also hope to hopefully do a couple more of these videos as time goes on, as we stay locked up, whether it be just little devotionals or lessons. I want to continue to do these, and hopefully that you get encouraged to do them too. And if you do, all you need is a phone that can record video, and you record your video, email it to Tom or me, and we'll figure it out, get it up on YouTube or Facebook or whatever we want to do, and share it so others can learn too. And so again, I hope that you learn something from this and gain something, and that you can be a better witness from this. And so again, I hope that everyone out there is well and healthy and safe, and hopefully that continues that way, and that God will relieve us of this illness soon. Thanks.